All right. Let's see what we got. So today we're going to do aspirin recrystallization, which is a purification technique for solids. So we got 4 people on ground and all of y'all in cyberspace. So this is not going to be a long lab. It'll be very quick actually. But what I did was I took all the aspirin from last week and combined it. So every group or every person is going to. You nervous? No. So, you looking like, man. Every group is going to take about 5 grams of aspirin to recrystallize. So write that down somewhere. I think it's on the data sheet how much you started with. We're going to start with 5 grams. Hopefully you had a chance to look over that video I sent. We're not going to do the boiling sticks, but the idea behind recrystallization is the same. A minimum amount of hot solvent is all stuff in. All right. Anybody have any questions?
Yes, I'll talk to you later.
What was it, 5 grams of?
Fruit aspirin.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll put it in the chat. They're going to take roughly 5 grams. So the total, excuse me, is 21 grams. So they're going to take about 5 grams each. We have one person, another person supposed to be here, but they're not here yet. So we just going to roll. So let me get everybody with some gloves and get set up. And we're going to be working off of this hot plate right here. Turn it. All right, so. Yeah, well, you gotta cut it out. That's fine. So we'll do 4 grams each. Yeah, switch the 5 grams to 4 grams because we had our 5th person to come. So each group will recrystallize 4 grams. Right. All right. So what we want to do is, first of all, we're going to weigh out the aspirin. You ready? Mm-hmm. So we're going to weigh out the aspirin. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, so let me wipe this off. So just like last week, we're going to take some wax paper, put it on the balance, tear the balance, and then I put that scoop right there behind. Yeah, you are. All right, there you go. Don't worry about that. So each group is going to weigh out about 4 grams of aspirin, and we're going to transfer that to an early model plate. While y'all are waiting, you can take some we can take ethanol and be warming it up. Oh, right here. So each of you who are waiting, you can come up and pour. Since it's 4 grams, you probably don't need more than 20. So I would say take about 20 milliliters of ethanol. So you want to do pour that into here, we should graduate, you need to graduate. So you can measure out 20 meters. That's what we're gonna start with. That program, 4.183. That's fine. Yeah, take it and put it in order. Let me give you a flag. Like, here you go.
How much of ethanol did you say?
Yeah, put that into here.
I think he said 20 milliliters.
20 milliliters.
Yeah, 20 mils is the max, since we're cutting the amount down to 4 grams. Normally, it was actually with the 3 groups that went last week, every sample was about 7 grams or so. So it's total of 21 grams. And normally it take about 25 milliliters to do 7 grams. So we're just gonna cut it to 20. It may take less, it may take more, but that's what we're gonna start with, 20 milliliters. So take that 20, and you can see that we're measuring that out here. And this is a cardinal sin of lab. No backpacks on the bench top. But you can see we're measuring out ethanol into a graduated cylinder. And that's what we're gonna heat. We're gonna heat that ethanol up. It's gotta be hot. Otherwise, it's not gonna dissolve your solid. That's the goal. You want it insoluble at room temperature, but soluble when it's hot.
Say that again. You said soluble.
When it's hot.
When it's hot.
Insoluble at room temperature. That's how you pick your solvent for recrystallization. If it dissolves at room temperature, you can't use it. It's a bad solvent. All right, so we gotta heat this ethanol up. So that's kind of, once you weigh your stuff out, you can put it on a hot plate, turn it on like 1. So you don't want it to start boiling, right? But you can come and weigh out your stuff while it's warming up.
So you just pour it back. Right?
Always the late folks that be messing up.
You know what? Actually, it's really not that much.
Put it all in there. Whatever you don't use, we'll recycle. Never pour back. You learn that.
Yeah, continue.
Put it all in there. Whatever we don't use, you can recycle. How you break? No. You need a piece of wax.
Look, okay, look, I really don't even.
I'm gonna try this poster. Y'all excuse my sarcasm. It's on 10 today.
I know it's on. I ain't even.
You ready too?
Yeah.
You on 8?
No, I'm on 11.
Uh-oh.
I just.
You can't talk smack if you can't pick it up.
I can actually, because you really didn't even mess me up, actually.
Yeah. All right.
I got some left over too.
Just whatever you have left, just put it on in there.
I got.
Whatever you don't use, we recycle.
So how am I supposed to weigh that now? See? It's three was not. You said to turn it on the top, right?
Mhm. You can turn it on, but don't turn it up. Put it on like 1. Yeah. There you go. And then what we're also gonna do today to help us get the right percent yield is before we do our filtration at the end, we're gonna weigh our filter paper. That way next week, we just subtract out the mass of the filter paper and we can get the amount. You got to come a little harder than that, QB. Come on with it.
Oh, I'm thinking that's 4 right there.
Oh, no. No, you need 4 grams, not 400 milligrams. You ain't even gonna worry about that cylinder. You just,
That's all I was.
you just gonna post on it.
I was thinking like this a while.
I think he gonna pour it in there and then pour it, because I can't even read these lines. I can't read it.
No, actually.
That's a guesstimate. This is 10, that's 20. Oh, it is. I promise. There you go.
Well, I could add Dr. Visual.
Boom. That's within the middle. So you go ahead and start warming that up. Don't let it boil. If it goes past the boiling point, it will catch fire. Had that happen before.
So we don't put nothing on a hot plate yet, so we have both.
No, go ahead and put the ethanol on. You already measured it out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, put it on there so it can be warming up.
So what do I do with, so you want me to put the leftovers in?
What you just pulled, put it in there on the thing. What was that, 4.28?
028.
4.028? All right, I'm keeping these numbers because if you are streaming, I'm gonna put the numbers in the chat. You just pick which one you want to use.
I'll just take this back.
Put it in here. Just fold it up, fold the paper over and transfer it to that. You good. Hey, Dr. Biswas, how you doing? Good? Yeah, man. Nice to see you in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take care, man. All right, let me turn back this way. Anybody got any questions while we are observing, watching?
Okay, when else did we get too warm? When else did we get too warm?
It's not gonna be like that. That's why I got the little flat. Easier to handle. You could have been winning.
My bad.
That's all right. Live and learn. Yeah, you can get, yeah, right there. I'm gonna trash all that stuff later. So you're gonna transfer, so you can zero it out. I see something on there. It ain't enough to make a difference though. You all right. Can't be on Zoom with no goggles on. So every group again is weighing out about 4 grams of crude aspirin, all right? And ethanol, again, you don't have to boil it. You don't want to boil it. The boiling point is like 78, so it doesn't take much. I had a group, I don't know what year it was. They were doing something else while the ethanol was on the hot plate and it caught fire. There was just flames shooting out the top of the Erlenmeyer flat. And they didn't even know because they were so busy writing notes and all this stuff.
Want this number?
What's your initials?
LM.
All right, good. And they were just sitting there oblivious to the fact that
It's for me.
that a fire was going on right next to them. In my first semester here, a long time ago, we were doing a different experiment, and one of the guys thought it was smart to turn the heat all the way up. We had to evacuate the building. That's the first time I ever cussed a student out.
So we're not doing good.
No, y'all doing great. Everybody's doing great. Yeah, he got cussed out. Bad. The whole class, really. Good. You already weighed your aspirin? Okay. You got 3. Oh, go ahead. All right. All right. So the rest of that, you can just take all of it. Anybody ethanol? Oh, you got it. Put that on out. It started boiling? Oh.
So I don't need to.
Oh, no,
I
no.
don't
Let
even
me
need
get-
to wear.
yeah, yeah. You gotta be. Yeah, don't do that. Be good. All right, anybody that's watching, anybody have any questions while we work? I'm gonna go to here, because her ethanol is already warming up. Turn it up a little bit. Yo, ain't nothing gonna blow up, child. She looking like, don't you turn that off. No, it's not, it's fine. All right, so we're warming up ethanol to add an initial amount to the crude aspirin. Now, in the normal conditions, we pipette it in, add a little bit, like a couple of milliliters at a time. But for now, we can kind of guesstimate. You might want to start with like 5 or 10 milliliters. And then once you add that initial amount to here, you're gonna sit this on the hot plate and start swirling it. And keep your ethanol on the hot plate too, so it can stay hot. And you just keep adding ethanol till everything dissolves. All right, it's very simple. And then we're gonna have a step where we add cold water, just like we did when we were making aspirin, because the aspirin itself is not soluble in the water ethanol mixture. So we're gonna force it out, but we don't want it to come out too fast, because then it's gonna be crap, which I've seen a lot. So there's no rush. The slower those crystals form, the more pure the aspirin is gonna be. So you say yours was already boiling?
When I put it on there, yeah.
We can go ahead and, if
It
it's
was
hot,
on 10. I turned it
turn it off, we turn it off, y'all. It's hot. Put it off, just on 10 when you plug it up.
down. No, it was already plugged up and on.
That's my fault. But also, my bad. If we blow up, it's my fault. You had the front, so you can be first out the door. You need to worry about it. All right. Is yours, is it, does it look like it's eating up at all? Do you see the way you do it? No. Make sure your house plays for it. What about you, Courtney?
Yeah, it's like,
Getting there. Get to, try. All right. Let's see what we got up here. Yeah, that should be it.
What do I put?
Why didn't you take off? Yeah, that's okay. We can work it out. Right. All right. And if you're streaming, yes, this is boring. If you're here, it's not as boring. Yeah, but you, again, you want to watch that ethanol carefully. So once we get everything dissolved, what we're gonna do, I want you to, when you get your ice bath and all that set up, I want each of you to weigh one of these filter papers. So next week, the crew that comes next week, they can just subtract out that amount and they'll know exactly how much pure aspirin is on it.
Okay.
And we're gonna save this little bit right here for the melting point. Because when you do the melting point, you always want to compare the crude and the pure to make sure that that your pure stuff is legit. Okay, good.
once you see waves, that's when you get it.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead and add it. While that heats up. Yeah. That's about it. So go ahead and add
Oh, like,
about half of that to that.
Bubbles like that.
Yes.
can you see?
I'm
About half of
sorry.
it. On each curve.
Is it on?
Yeah.
All right, that's good. Now put that back on this hot plate. Put this on the hot plate. Just start swirling. Just like that. And it, take that off. Whenever it starts boiling, take it off, set it on the bench top. That's why that material, that's why it's made out of that material. It'll cool it off fast. Go ahead. Add about half of what you got in there. And then we also want to time how long it takes. So Just look at your clock, tell me what time it is.
1:34.
All right. So we're going to time how long, I think that's one of the data points on that sheet, how long it took to actually dissolve everything. Ooh, boy, you got the grandmama, hot plate. We're gonna turn it a little bit more, but not much. All right, let me go around. That's okay, I'm not abandoning you, we're coming back. So you can see here, with this sample right here, hers is almost all the way dissolved. We might have to break that, hold up, stop. I don't know if that's paper or aspirin. All right, sometimes you have crap in there, like that looks like that might be leftover filter paper. So what we're gonna have to do is what we call a hot gravity filtration. So we're gonna take that and filter it while it's hot. So just turn the heat off or turn it down, and then we're gonna have to filter that. Man, let me get a glass funnel real quick. I don't think that's aspirin.
So where it says hot gravity filtration necessary, we circle yes.
Yeah, just go ahead and circle it.
Okay.
How long did it take for their aspirin to dissolve?
35 seconds.
5 seconds.
Yeah.
So we gotta filter that real quick. So we're gonna filter it before it cools off into a clean Erlenmeyer. For this back.
So we don't need that no more?
Okay, that's all gone. You only add ethanol until it's all dissolved, and now you don't need it. Let's pour that real quick. Yeah, that's the paper. See that stuck to the side? That would have ruined your percent yield. So we're doing a hot gravity filtration, just a glass funnel and a clean flask and a piece of filter paper. Because her aspirin actually had filter paper floating in it. It was stuck to the side. Can y'all see that?
Yes. Was it 5 or 35 seconds?
35.
35?
Yeah, it didn't take long. As long as that ethanol is hot, it doesn't take long at all. So we can do that. Yes, and keep it on the hot plate. That's why it's not dissolved, because it's not hot.
Dr. Bismarck, you got some paper in the pen? You have a paper in the pen?
You need yours filtered too, Cornetta?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Now,
Can I put this back on the plate?
No,
Okay.
let it cool to room temperature, then we're gonna do the rest of it. Yes, sir.
There's a quick question. Is there anything special for March 23rd?
What's March 23rd?
They say that they're not going.
I don't know. Thank God.
Okay.
I'm thankful if there's no class on March 23rd, but I have no idea what's going on.
Okay. The second question is, do you have any idea about the next year's academic calendar?
No. You mean as far as,
Semester starts and-
oh, yeah, no. They haven't released anything yet.
It's mid-March.
Yeah, man. It's all, yeah.
We should finish it then.
Yeah, it's normally done already, but I don't know. So we had to do another hot gravity filtration here too. Same reason, had some paper floating around in the sample. And if you look at, I'm gonna show you how delicate this process is. You look at my glove, you can see that there's aspirin on my glove, but I haven't touched any aspirin. It's once that liquid dries, once the ethanol dries up, then aspirin is there. So now we want to do the next step, which I think is to add cold water. Is that right? Anybody got this need to pull it up? Good. Why haven't you put that in there? Why haven't you put that aspirin in the flask?
Just halfway.
Oh, where's your, so all your aspirin is here, is all? this is supposed to be there.
Yeah, I know it's later. I know it's one.
Because I,
Yeah.
But I think it's a folder inside a folder. He got that. Thank you.
So I was supposed to. Yeah.
Yeah, child. Where's the Chem? You got those one right now. Yeah, we're gonna cut. Okay, so on the procedure, it costs for 40 mils of cold steel wood, is that right? So we're gonna cut that. We're gonna cut it. In half. So. Get this on the on ice, the still water on ice for a second. It goes out of all. Just keep it on that for 2 more minutes. While the water is cooling off, everybody else can take early mark people like this. Put some ice in it from the cooler and then add some water to it, make ice.
I can't touch that.
Okay, keep it on. So. Yeah. Yeah, just add some water from the faucet.
Does that how much ice is it?
All right, anybody have any questions on the streaming with us? All right, so we got another sample here. Yeah, I think so too. We got to do another gravity filtration, so. Hold tight. Can you pour your ethanol back into that graduated cylinder? Right here. On the wall. So again, we got another sample that has insoluble impurities, right? So I don't know if you can see that little white piece of material floating around in there, but that's a piece of filter paper. So we just gonna filter it, and then what's left will recrystallize from that. Come on, baby. Yeah.
This crude just means it's not purified.
Uh-huh. So again, we're gonna filter off that impurity, and then what's left, that's where our pure aspirin is gonna be. So we just let that filter while it's hot. It's important to do it while it's hot. It doesn't matter. That's just, yeah, it's not gonna hurt anything. Yeah, it's important to do that gravity filtration while it's hot so that your stuff doesn't cool off and start crystallizing. Otherwise, you'll be up the creek. So we're going to add some cold distilled water to this, and then hopefully that'll get put it on the ice bath, and then that'll get some crystals formed. So instead of 40 mils, we're gonna add 10 mils of cold distilled water to each sample. Right, so let's see. And then once we do that, we're gonna put it on the ice bath. All right, so I've added the water, and I'm just gonna stick this on the ice bath and wait for the crystals. All right. Everybody is.
Do we need a time to see how long that takes?
Yeah. You already got crystals coming. That's when it cools off, they start forming right away. You got, see how they look like needles? That's good. If they look like needles, that's gonna be some pure aspirin. Mm-hmm. Needles. Let me do it.
It looks like some little things that.
That's how this is a lot of needles. That's why. Water. I don't need the same. Thank you. What they say about it, you will learn.
Yeah.
All right. Got something. Yeah, perfect. So you can see this first sample right here. We already have crystals forming in the bottom. Normally, you don't want to disturb it by picking it up, but I just wanted to show you. So the longer we let it sit, the more crystals we're going to get out of it. No, just leave it. It's still, yeah, on the macro level, it looks like that. But on the micro level, it's still crystals forming. The longer you let it sit, the higher your percent yield is going to be. All right, there you go. That's good stuff. Especially after the filtration, you still got that much. That's good. That's all right. Okay, it's not oversaturated. Let's go.
Dr. Russell,
Yeah.
my thing tipped. It tipped. I'm not sure if it's still okay.
I'm coming up there and,
Warning, you got it?
it tipped over,
Yeah,
it fell out.
no.
Oh, there you go.
Warning, you
I'm live now. Yeah, you told me no, you told her.
I said tag.
I said warning.
No, water got in a tag.
Oh,
No,
boy, got it.
A tag.
It's some water in there already, bro.
True.
I don't need to say. All right. Put it on ice now. That's perfect. Father in heaven, please bring these crystals out. Let's see what you got. You have more crystals? Yeah, yeah, you do. Yeah, that's good. Good and clean. More crystals. Just pour some of that water out. All right, we're good now. So normally, you don't want to crystallize your stuff. You don't want it to crash out, because then it's not crystallizing, it's precipitating, and that's bad. So if it's slow crystal formation, that's always a plus. And I think all of these are slow, have been slow. They haven't been immediate. Yours was slow too, because it had to cool down first before you saw anything. So that's good. What's on that data sheet? Reagent. All right. So what we're gonna do now, while you're waiting on that, I need to go get 2 more pieces of filter paper, and I want each of you to weigh it. And then about, when you see your initials on here, you went first, right? What's your initial?
TJ.
And then, how much did you have, how much aspirin did you have, Annalise? 4 on the head?
Well, and then,
That's fine. So once on this sheet where your initials are, when you weigh your filter paper, just write the math on that. Let me go get 2 more pieces.
Ah.
if anyone doesn't mind, can I take a picture of you guys' notes? Yeah.
So, yes.
Oh, I think my stop crystallized.
No, it didn't.
Oh, did okay.
Just leave it.
Excuse me.
You just trying to leave. You ain't going
I
nowhere.
ain't
Y'all,
trying to
I ain't
do that.
leaving nobody.
I'm making sure I'm doing it right.
Yeah, you are. So for those of you who are watching, whatever number you pick, when I put it in the chat, you need to pick the same filter paper, right? So that next week, when we subtract the mass of the filter paper out, you'll know your theoretical yield in grams. I'm sorry, your actual yield, because you got to calculate the theoretical yield, which you should be able to do that. And while that's crystallizing, you can go ahead and take never mind. Go ahead and set up that gravity filtration. vacuum class like this, just find an open drawer close to you and look in there, see if there's one in there. If not, we can get one. And you need a butyl funnel. That's having a rough it. Having a rough out the nose. Yeah, right here. It's a butyl funnel. You need a butyl funnel. And a vacuum cleaner. So it's like it looks like an early mark, but it has a little nipple on the side for a hose. Well, they're not. You don't have everything. Look down here. You got a vacuum glass? You see a vacuum glass in there? Yep. You use that. I can get some glass. You just need two.
was able to calculate the linear region, right? You know,
I'm trying to do it now. I'm confused. I got vacuum class. Yeah.
So, anybody else need a, you need a vacuum glass, right? You got it, perfect. We just need this, is there some tubing in the drawer also, like a hole that you can use? Rubber hose? Look in the same where you got the glass, all right. Yeah, there should be a piece of tubing or something in the drawer too that you can use. Gotta have a piece of tubing to go on the aspirator, just like last week. You use that, the black tube. Hold on, never mind, that's all. You got tubing over there, Cornell?
Mhm.
All right. Happen when people don't clean up. All right, anybody got any questions while this vacuum filtration part is the same as it was last week. Same exact setup. I just gotta get you the masses for the filter paper, so you'll have it for next week.
Hello.
Yes, you have a question?
Yeah, did you put the numbers in the chat?
Not yet, not yet.
Okay.
Cool. Are you getting the crystals? That's a more.
Acetic acid is aspirin. Acetic acid is aspirin.
Mhm.
Not in the bag.
No, I think it's the oxalic acid. It's aspirin.
I know, I wouldn't try to demoralize you, I wouldn't do that. But this is a teachable moment. So right here, we have a sample. The participant shall remain nameless. Oh, you just come on. Tell everybody. Get your 5 minutes of fame.
You know it.
So she added more ethanol than was necessary. So we added water and we have no crystals. So in this case, there's two things that you can do. Since we added water, we're not gonna be able to drive that off. You're gonna overheat the sample. So what we're gonna do is do what's called seeding. So we're gonna take a piece of a crystal of aspirin from another group and drop it into here and try to grow some crystals around it. So hopefully that'll work. Then you'll really be famous for today. So let me grab a spatula and I'm gonna take some aspirin from you since yours is all.
Sorry, thanks for this. Thanks for letting me borrow some.
So normally if you have
How much ethanol did you?
All of it.
all of it,
Oh,
all of
so
it.
you
And
like
she had it.
completely dissolved it, like
You just pour it in there like,
Actually, I was having some trouble after I added half, so I think that was my sign to stop, but I kept trying to.
kept going, just kept going.
'Cause I thought that's so.
Let's see if we can, so we're gonna take some aspirin from Letitia, right?
Patricia.
Latricia, from Latricia's sample. We're gonna take a little bit of that. Not much. Only about this much. And we're gonna add this to Annalise's sample. Annalise, excuse me. Make you feel it by yourself. Keep on. All right, so we put a little bit in there and then we're gonna just put it back in the ice bath. I know, see? Well, I tell you what.
You gonna pray again?
No, we don't pray. We got it. Oh, I already
No,
got it.
pray again.
I already got it. Go. All right, so now it's just the filtration part that we need to do. So for those of you who are watching, I'm gonna put these numbers in. I need everybody to weigh their filter paper so I can get the numbers. And then the people who are streaming can log off because the filtration, you saw that last week. So go ahead. I'll write your mass down.
This paper?
Yeah, just zero it out. I don't like to zero it out. Do you? That's the fifth time you hit that. There you go. Sit it on there and just see how much it weighs. It's okay. Yeah. 2.24.
3.
Just take that with you. So we got recording. 2.285. Got it. All right. Come on.
I'm trying to look at it.
You're doing right, man. You just there you go.
How about zero?
Mhm. You always zero it out. Put the top down. That's why it's moving. Mhm. It's a very sensitive balance. Hit the zero again. Yeah, just put it on. There you go. 2.274. All right. Just hold it. Come on, Annalise. With the long A. Accented A.
Well, yeah. I don't know why.
It's already zero. Just sit it on there. Two point 268. I don't know either. There you go. Take that with you. If that's what you're gonna do your filtration on that. No, you're gonna do it. Ran away. All right, we got it. All right, so a lot of times like sometimes you'll think, well, I could just weigh one piece of filter paper and they're all the same. You can see that that's not the case. Every one of these pieces of filter paper has a different mass. So I'm gonna put the numbers in the chat and then you can record those numbers, pick the ones you want to use, but just make sure you use the same person's information. And then you see crystals in there? Yeah, just let it sit. They'll come. All right, so I'm just gonna put the initials.
Do we write on the filter paper?
We got the numbers right here. We just need to remember what drawer you put it in. 4.183. And filter paper 2.274. Okay, let me put the next set of values in. And again, it's totally up to you which ones you want to use. And then all the values are in grams. Got two more to do.
Dr. Russell,
Uh-huh.
we put in the mass of the aspirin in the actual yield place?
No, not yet. The actual yield will be after this step, after the recrystallization. This is crude. This is how much we started with.
Okay, so it's the crude yield of aspirin?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So you can pick which one you want to use, and we're going to go with that. Now, the theoretical is going to be off because last week, I think the amount that you started with should have given you way more aspirin, right? But since we divided the total amounts up, the theoretical is going to be off. So I'm gonna adjust it based on this, and then backtrack it out, and then I'll tell you what the theoretical yield should be based on these numbers. I'll put it in Blackboard.
Okay.
Yeah, but for now, these will be your crude masses. Mhm. Right, today, yes. So the crude yield is whatever you weigh it out, 4.183. All right. Yeah, so anybody, if you're on the stream and you have a question, you can ask it now. Otherwise, we're gonna log off and we're gonna do this filtration step and we'll be out of here. Right.
Dr.
Any other-
Russell?
Go ahead.
So we're gonna continue after the filtration next week?
Yes, because it has to dry in order for us to get the actual yield. 'Cause if it's still
Okay.
wet and we try to take the yield, the mass is gonna be off and we're gonna get an inflated number and we don't want that.
Okay.
Mhm. Any other questions? All right, so I'm gonna log off real quick. We're gonna finish up, clean up, and then next week, it'll be a different 5 people or 4 people, how many people I got. That'll be
So-
coming.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So are you gonna tell us the actual yield like next week?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna probably calculate it today and put it in Blackboard, put it on Blackboard, because the fact that we took the, what was actually there and cut it down, then the actual yield based on 4 is gonna be based on 4 grams of aspirin and not, I think it would normally be about 7 or 8 grams.
Okay, thank you.
Have to back calculate it and then I'll post it to, Blackboard.
Alrighty.
All right. Any other questions? No? All right. See y'all next week, God willing.